Hello, guys. Welcome back to another episode of the UnpackIT Podcast. As you know, it's Akiayo, and as usual, we're having amazing conversations. Um, Thank you for always tuning in. Thank you for following us on this journey. If this is your first time, you're welcome. This is a podcast that will talk about mental health, your well-being, daily life activities, and how it affects your mental well-being. And today, I have an amazing guest on the show. Beautiful in and out. I call her Shona, but she has a way she does it. So I'm going to give her the honors of introducing herself.
All right. Thank you, Ayola. Thank you for having me. So my name is Esther Ojochona Diloma. I'm a graduate of English and Literary Studies. I'm also a makeup artist and SFX makeup artist. So I'm so glad to be here today.
Yeah, she does really, really amazing, guys. You need to check through the videos. You realize you see some of them there. Yeah, and there's some of them put up. So it's a pleasure to have you on board. How are you today?
I'm fine. I'm fine.
You sure? Very well. Good. Yeah, I'm even time today, but all right. So today we'll be having a conversation around, the families of overcomers. So we call them overcomers, right? And overcomers are people who have been through drugs, drug abuse, and misuse, of which Shona happened to be a family of someone that has been through, drug misuse and then is on the journey of recovery and it being integrated back into the society. But we want to take a deep dive, right, into the families of these guys. We want to see what it looks like on the family, not just the addicts themselves, or everything is always centered around that. Oh, this person's on drugs, this person's on drugs. We want to take a deep dive, and that's why I have Shona here with me today. So thank you for being on this once again. I hope you're ready for this.
I'm hoping I am. Well, thank your best.
You try your best. All right. So where do we say we start this conversation from to push it? So yeah, just give us a brief on your brother Victor and your relationship with him.
Okay, I would say I think it's like any typical sibling relationship.
Mm-hmm.
We were born in Lagos. I grew up to a point in Lagos. When I was 10, I left there. But still, there's still this connection. Would always have this connection with your siblings, no matter where you are. So the relationship with Victor was really nice. It was actually my best sibling growing up. I'm not going to lie, because it doesn't like shout at, I'm the last born, so it doesn't like shout at me or be or pick me, stuff like that. So yeah, it was a good it's a good relationship here.
Yeah, so you had like how many were you guys?
Wow. Plus me were five.
Five. Five children. And of the five, it was like your best of buddy kind of,
I was closer to he growing up. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so at what point did you begin to realize his involvement in in these actions or drug misuse and abuse?
It actually took a while for me to realize. It took a very long while. Even when the symptoms of addiction started playing out, like hallucination and basically doing things that I would never have done before. I still didn't know it was related to drug abuse or anything of that sort until I spoke to someone and I explained that, oh, this my brother is actually a musician, but he's actually going through things. By that time, I was not like open to saying, oh, my brother is hallucinating and is behaving out of character. I would always say, oh, he's depressed and he's just down. So somebody advised me and said I should go and check and see, does he smoke? And that was like the first time the option of drug use came to my head. Oh, so I didn't even know drug abuse, like smoking can cause hallucination or anything of that sort. So I went back and I asked Victor, and he said yes, that actually does drugs. So that was what brought to light that the way he's acting, his hallucination and all of that could be the cause of
Drugs? Okay, VA.
drugs and everything related to like his substance abuse. So that was how I found out.
About it, basically.
Yeah.
How far back is this?
That was in 2019.
2019. What were you in 2019?
I we were in Kubwa. I was like trying to process my admission to go to school,
Okay.
and he just graduated. And he was back home. So that was when everything started. Yeah.
Okay. So you said Kubwa, that's Abuja, right? So, but you guys were born in Lagos.
Yeah, I do.
So, before we like get deep into the Kubwa, I would like to look into family. What was it like growing up with family, not just Victor now, but your entire family? What was the society, the environment like? At what point did you transition from Lagos to Abuja? And did you start doing? Do you think you started doing these things in Abuja or in Lagos? Are you honest?
Okay.
Just give us a brief, basically that transition. Take us through that journey.
Yeah, I would say the area we grew up in, Lagos. I think you have like any typical family there. It's not like deep into the ghetto. It's just the normal, typical Nigerian street you think about. I don't know if that makes sense. So, but for me, I was 10 when I left Lagos. Like, I left all of them. My auntie came to Lagos and I was like, oh, I want to go out to Kogi, blah, blah, blah. So that was how I left Lagos. But in regards to him using drug around that time in Lagos, I don't think so. There's one thing I know about Victor is I know when he's lying, and he does not necessarily lie when he does not need to. Don't know if that makes sense. And for me, I don't feel like he lies to you a lot. So he started smoking after he got into school. And that's the thing about peer pressure. So he started smoking once he got into school because he does music. And they believe that if you're doing secular music, you have to, if you don't smoke or you don't drink, then you're not like part of the cool guy, or you don't get inspiration from just not smoking. So you have to smoke to be able to get inspiration. So that was what kind of drew me into smoking.
So you guys been singing for like how long did you realize that you have been singing?
Since I was very little, Victor is older than me with 5 years. So, and I was 10 when I left Lagos. So he has been singing since he was 13, 14, thereabout.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's huge. Okay, so you followed your auntie from Lagos to Kogi. So you stayed in Kogi, and then for you guys moved back to Abuja.
No, no, no.
Okay.
They moved my family
Okay, family moved from Lagos to Abuja.
3 years after I left Lagos. So he moved to Kogi State. Yes, they moved to Kogi State. Then subsequently, everybody started like leaving.
Different as part grows and all of those things. Okay, so cool. So you were now let's come back to when everyone in the house when you realized that I was into these things and stuff. What was you didn't want to admit that I was hallucinating initially or was having these symptoms, and you were like, okay, what's going on? I don't know about. But what was running through your mind those period? Like, why is my brother doing this? Now you weren't even aware that he was into drugs at any point in time. So like, what was? I mean, you said this person was like the closest to you, like you really loved it. You felt like you put your hand. So what was that? What were you thinking this period? Like, God, what's happening, my brother?
At first, because it was also giving us info as to what might be the reason, or I mean he's hallucinating and stuff. So it was like, oh, there's somebody in his school that did something with his underwear, and then he said, I think that was when that pants thingy was raining, where girls cannot like spread their pants outside because they're like, this is for something. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was like, somebody used his underwear or something, or maybe the cultist that asked him to join cults, he didn't join and then he did something. So it was just basically spiritual. We're thinking it was spiritual, but then it wasn't until I started asking questions and like trying to make inquiries. We went to church, we did fasting, we did a lot of things, but nothing was changing until I started asking questions, and we found out that it's actually drug related, and it was still smoking even while it was going through that. He was still the substances, like different substances, but we didn't know about it. Like I said, up till now, I've never seen my brother smoke. I've never ever seen him smoke, but he was an addict.
Interesting. Okay, so just to be clear, while you guys were in Lagos, all of these symptoms didn't have them.
No.
It was, I mean, just fine. It was a perfect brother.
When we moved to, like, my sisters, my older siblings moved to Abuja. That was how we came to be in Abuja. It's not like my father and my mother moved here.
Okay.
So that's how we came. So even when we were here together, nothing of that sort. It was like before I graduated. Although I explained how it started to me, don't remember shit. Even here now, yeah. So it said there was one place he works at, a hotel basically. And then this day, something was telling him, according to him, that she shouldn't go out, that just stay at home, just stay at home. Even like there was this breeze that came from the windows and the doors. Like that was how he explained it to me. Just stay at home. But he didn't. So he went out and he saw some of his friends or acquaintances smoking. And he saw a wrapped
Smoke, okay.
yeah, on the table. And I heard somewhere that they said the number one rule of smokers is never to like pick up an already wrapped smoke if you don't know what is like wrapped inside.
Yeah.
So he came and he saw that it was like half smoke and was, oh my guy, give me now. Be now.
As per like, it does it regularly.
A4. So he picked it all and then he smoked it. And that was the point everything started. It was now having anxiety. Like at that point, started having anxiety. And I know a lot of people go through these symptoms if they smoke, but eventually it clears up. But his did not. So that was how it started. And then he went back to school. We didn't even know. That was 300 level, 300 level second semester or 400 level first semester. So he went back to school, went through everything alone and tried to like, he was hoping he would get past it, or he didn't. It was just suspecting everyone, thinking his friends are after him or trying to kill him or cultists are after him. So stuff like that, you know how hallucination is. So that was how he began.
That's how he started smoking. Okay, so he has been smoking. Everything was good.
Yeah.
He was doing it for his music. There was no form of I'm smoking. Like you guys were not aware really. You guys, he was still perfect. He was still doing his daily job until he picked that particular smoke. So he felt like as though inside that particular wrapped smoke was a substance that he was not used to,
Right.
and that triggered the entire thing up. Okay, and that's interesting. But before we go into it again, before we go into like the smoke and all those other aspects, um, you spoke about praying. You spoke about going to churches, going to every possible fasting and all of that. That period, do you feel like God was neglecting you, or it was like some form of God is not true? It's not real. Why is he letting this happen to my brother?
I actually admit the process of dealing with my brother's addiction actually tested my faith. Even up till now, I'm not going to lie, I'm still struggling, but I'm in a better place. That's where I was in some years ago. I felt like God was not listening because growing up, like I said, I went with my auntie to Kogi State and she's a prophetess. So my prayer line was grounded. Even as a child, I used to pray a lot. So I was like, God, I've been praying and praying and praying, but like nothing is changing. And it actually tested my faith. I'm not going to lie. But like I said, I'm in a better place now. Yeah.
You reminded me like pry deep into that. Okay, so more like at what point did you be like, yeah, you really tested your faith, right? But like, can you give me like examples or something like, you at any point were like, I'm not serving this God anymore? And like, what was that? What was that straw that broke the camel's back?
I don't think there was a point where I actually said, oh, I'm not serving God anymore. What contributed again was because I studied in school, or the people may hear English and think, oh, it's just linguistics and all. For the literature part, it kind of exposes you to um, colonialism, what how Christianity was brought into Nigeria and all of that, into Africa. So you can imagine a combination of that and still struggling with my prayer life because a particular prayer point is not being answered on time. that would definitely test my faith even more. So I don't think there was a point, but I knew that deep down I was not happy with God.
Yeah. It's funny to say you're not happy with God because
Yeah, I was not happy, but I've gone past that.
yeah, definitely glad that you're out of that. So now that this whole, thing happened, your friend suggested to you like, do you think he does drugs? And like, okay. Did you admit so you don't smoke naturally, right? You yourself don't do all these things. Have you at any point in time like or at any point in time when your friend was suggesting to you that I'll be aware that doesn't smoke? So there's this thing around stigma, right? Where statistics or numbers show that this thing, yeah, people are doing it. But on the flip, nobody wants to admit that they're doing it. So if you look at statistics, I'm going to be a few things. If you go online, check, there are a lot of people watching pornography.
Yeah.
Like these guys are cashing out. But you will not see anybody admits easy as anything they're watching it.
Yeah.
Same thing with some maybe smoke or other things like those. Wow, numbers are up. Probably doing it though, and that kind of thing. So there's this stigma attached to it, like stuff. This is somebody that you love so much. And somebody is saying that, are you sure he's not smoking? How did you feel this period? Did you just admit it or just like, nah, maybe it's a possibility?
Oh, one thing I know is that, of course, nobody wants to go, oh, guess what? My brother is a smoker. My brother is an addict. Nobody wants to say that. But I don't think I opened up to anybody. It took a while for me to be able to open up to people. They didn't even know anything, so there was no even point for you to even suggest that unless I tell you something, I'll give you a hint. So there was nobody around me that I told, that aside my family, that I told until like a very long while I started opening up to. And there's one thing about me, I would only open up to people that I know would understand or have gone through something similar. So that was kind of how I dealt with it. So there was no point where I felt like somebody was trying to stigmatize me, And even if I don't think I'm the type that would fall for that. I really don't give a hoot about. Oh,
I don't think, yeah, I think that's a very good superpower and that's really helped, in a certain way. But talk us through your confronting your brother. Yeah, I know you mentioned that it was, I mean, receptive and then he opened up to you. Did he at any point fight back? Or what was going through your mind saying like, oh, more? Oh, yeah, it was nice. Definitely you had a chill pill with him and you were ready to go and open up and like, Baba, come, follow me talk. Waiting there happen for here. But were you feeling any way like, is he going to accept? Is he going to deny? Is he going to, that kind of
accept what? Like,
accept the allegations that are you smoking?
okay.
Like, can that point where you were beginning to talk to him, can you like talk us through that process?
Yeah, he actually took it well. It took it well. For somebody that the addiction made him like most of the time angry, he actually took that conversation well. One thing about him was that he wanted to be helped. Like he knew he was not in a good place, so he wanted that help. So he was trying everything he could to open up in order to invite help, however way it would come. So the conversation was not bad. I was not like scared because this was somebody that I would have conversations with even before now, even before the addiction. So it was not like a strange thing to do because he's my brother after all.
And if you had to deal with your cross, like how do your siblings take it?
They, I think the same thing. We all were like in it together. Like I would always say, people often think that addiction affects only the addicts themselves, or it actually affects everybody involved, like the family involved. Imagine feeling anger, love, sadness, hope, all those emotions in one. Like I don't know if that makes sense, but imagine the mixture of those emotions and feeling them at once. That's such a horrible place to be. So it was like that for everybody. We're trying to pay And it will affect you financially. That's one thing about addiction, both in good or bad ways. Maybe that this person did something and then you have to pay debts that you know nothing about, or for medical expenses, and then psychologically, emotionally, a lot of things. So it's not really anything I pray for any family to go through, honestly. So it was basically the same thing for all of us. We dealt with it however we could. And shout out to my sisters, joy and success. Yeah.
I mean, this is very interesting to see the direction of Noah or how this was. I've heard you say things like, I mean, prior to this recording, how that you had to so much be worried, like anxiety. But right now, yeah, we're not in that stage anymore. But I want to look. I want you
How do you
to.
know? How do you know?
Okay. I think that's me being ahead. But I just feel like because I mean, right now we are aware that he's in a stage of recovery. We are what's the word? We are more relaxed and hopeful that he's in a good state towards recovery. I mean, unlike when there was no help before, he's in a system now that is helping him to recuperate and ensure that things are working quite well for him. Are you going to say that your anxiety level just before that time and now is the same? Or do you think it heightened? Did it reduce or something?
No, I actually did reduce, but I wouldn't say it's completely gone. No, I don't feel anxiety anymore. If my phone should ring now, I would only say this: my heart skips because of the previous trauma that I've been through. Oh, somebody a random person. There are a lot of people that have called me, even up to this day. I don't know them. Oh, your brother is doing this, so and they're beating him up, or come and whatever you want to do. You might even be in Lagos and you're in Abuja. What are you going to do at that point? So I don't think it has left, but I actually feel better. Like it has gotten a lot better. But it's not an easy thing to do. And I'm hoping that I'm able to get rid of this PTSD, if I may call it that.
So how do you help yourself right now? Like in what system or how have so far have you been able to help yourself heal from these matters?
Yeah, I think the saying that goes, whatever does not kill you makes you stronger, is actually true. It's not like I have a particular way I deal with it, but over the years, I've learned a lot of things, and those things have helped me to like keep holding on. Um, I think I'm a very optimistic person. That is what keeps me going. So in every situation, or in most situations, I try to be optimistic and not try to be negative about whatever situation I'm in. So that kind of kept me going. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm glad that you are speaking of that on all of those things. But I think that there are a number of things that will probably talk behind the scenes as much. But you've been able to really like, shed light a bit into the perspective of, how you feel about all of these things. In a financial state, or let me look at, states that you have mentioned as well that it tests you through as a family, academically, financially, and other things. You are a fresh graduate. Right? How were you able to handle this stress even while in school and stuff?
It was not easy. It was not easy. Like I said, addiction has nothing to offer other than psychological and emotional pain, trauma. At some point in 100 level, I would say it actually affected my academics. I would say that at some point in 100 level, no, 200 level, I felt like I was going crazy because that was like the height of it, like getting different calls from people, and he knows my number of heart. So it was like my number he gives to people. Maybe he's working somewhere for the first time, you give my number out. So I'm literally the person they call most times. And I don't know if he gives the numbers of my other siblings, but I get a lot of calls.
Yeah, you're closer to him.
Yeah, so it actually affected me. I felt like I was going crazy. I was thinking, I was even browsing, like checking Google, how do you calm your mind down? I even saw some um solution where they said, oh, just count from 1 to 10, keep counting from 1 to 10, 1, 10 to 0, and all of that. So it actually affected me. I have to join a team in school where I didn't even practice for this relay race, but I had to run. I felt I needed to trigger my body to do something. I don't know how to put it, but I needed to stress my body in order to stop thinking. It was quite a lot for me because nah, I don't pray for anybody to actually be in nah.
That situation, that hurt horrible. I'm trying to really like understand. Like look at the coping mechanism that you had to go through. So if I see you on the field at the time or on track, and I'm like, oh wow, she's a runner, she's a track star. So that was not exact. The motivation behind that was different entirely. It was for you to clear your head and clear your sanity. And did it really give you that?
I think it contributed to giving me like sharing my sanity. Yeah, I would say. And imagine going to church and then you're saying, and that's the point pastor is saying, oh, there's this mad person. Da, 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 da. I'm like, eh, is it me? Are you sure it's not me, pastors? Are you sure it's not me, pastor is backing about? Because I felt like I was actually going crazy. I'm not going to lie. So all of those things that I did actually helped me get past it. And yeah, praying, that was one point. I think that was what kind of held my faith or reminded me that, yo, look at when there was this point that God actually did save you. I'm not joking. I was going to church. Me that was not going for weekly services. I was going to church, going on Sunday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday was reading church, going every single time they have. I even thought of going to sleep in church. Maybe that would help. So doing all of those things brought me out of that mental stress I was going through at that point. It didn't get rid of the other emotional stress, but the constant mental stress of me not being able to sleep alone or think straight without thinking about the issues at home. Yeah, it helped me.
It helped you manage that. Um, I must say that you're a really strong woman, really, because ordinary stresses of life, some of us are, really down into this, and then you now have yourself in your own stress, and then you're carrying a stress that you did not bargain for. And then you just, can't do it, but you have been able to, survive to these states and, get into it. Because we have to wrap up soon. I'm just going to, let me just, redirect this for you so I speak to the audience. I'd like for you to speak to the camera as well. Um, just tell the audience, whoever is listening, let them understand, or what's one thing you would like to tell the audience directly, especially to those that are probably looking at diverting themselves into drugs as a means of coping with whatever stress they have. And I want you to like try and like not just talk to the people who are, going to want to do this, but also talk to them and let them understand that there are a lot of people that that singular action can really affect.
Okay.
You get it?
For people, I would say for people that are thinking, or young adults or teenagers that are thinking of going into substance abuse, don't do it because it's basically you trying to start something that you cannot finish. You're going to have people pay for the consequences of your action. That's just being about addiction. You're not going to face it alone, and it's just going to destroy your life in the long run as a teenager or as a young adult. And for the families involved, or I mean, for the families that already have addicts in their lives, I would say that I'm hoping that a bit of my story is able to give you hope. Give you hope. I know it's not going to like take everything away. It's not going to take all the emotions away, but just keep striving and keep pushing. Keep hoping that everything is going to be better. Because to be honest, at the end of the day, there's literally little or nothing you can do. So I'm hoping that my story help you cope.
Yeah, thank you very much. There's this line, just one final line that you always say. I like you to say it. Say addiction has nothing to offer you. Rather than just I need to say that I need to say
Okay. Yeah, so addiction has literally nothing to offer other than psychological and emotional trauma for all the parties involved.
yeah, yeah, thank you very much. I think it's been an insightful conversation. So guys, again, drug use, drug misuse, it helps you with the short term feeling how you feel, but on the long run, it gives you even much more problem, right? This is something, I mean, so for example, in Victor's case, yeah, he's getting off it's clean. He's been clean for a long time right now. He's been very clean. He's not been doing the drugs, but we still have to, do the medical intervention because the usage of the drugs has now caused, much more implications and all, and then we're trying to work with that. So guys, now you've read it or you've really gotten it, and I really hope that this inspires you. You want to say something?
No, exactly. So I'm going to say for the families of the addicts, please don't lose yourself in the process of trying to help someone else. Because trust me, if you try to give your 100 to someone else and you're not giving anything to yourself, it's definitely going to affect you. And there's no joy in having two people facing like mental health related issues because of one mistake from somebody. So basically, what I'm saying is take care of yourself. As you're in the process of taking care of someone else, don't forget to take care of yourself too.
All right. Thank you very much, Shauna. Thank you for being on board. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of this particular episode. If you are not subscribed, please ensure you subscribe, ensure you like the button just there, and so that you can get more updates when we drop more. Do you like to play a game? Very quick.
Okay.
Are you sure you're ready?
What's it here?
Okay, the very sweet, simple riddle. I do it a lot of times. I don't know.
Right there.
Um, if you are going to church, you're driving to church, or you're walking to church, rather, right? You're going to church this evening, you're walking to church, and you get to the car park and you realize that there are two huge trucks parked already. Where do you park?
I'm taking a walk, so
Oh, smart. Okay, I think he was going. I did not get it. So why you going with it? Well, anyway, thank you for joining us on this episode. It's a fair prayer. Cheers, guys.
thank you for having